Link personnel would always go the extra mile to assist any client who call our call center or visit any of our help desks for assistance. The accusation of we not being responsive, it comes at a huge surprise to us because these offices are monitored for quality assurance purposes and continuous training programs are offered to these officers. So in our estimation, this is quite a strange accusation. Of course, at the inception of ICOMS, these were some of the challenges that were mentioned. I'm not too sure whether it is just a rehash of these issues that we had in 2020. But otherwise, I mean, if engagements are held with stakeholders who have contacted our various, help desk and call center, I'm not too sure they will tell the same story as was told by the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana.
All right, now they talk about some changes sometimes being made in the system and stakeholders are not informed, only to be, surprised, to be taken aback by these changes. Do you normally have consultations when you are introducing, some changes in the platform or on the system?
Indeed, Kennedy, we have very extensive consultations with all key host stakeholders who have one role or the other to play when it comes to making changes or updates on ICOMS. What it is that we, Ghana Link Network Services, are the service providers. The system belongs to the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Anytime they have requested of us to make one change or one improvement or the other for one reason or the other, we have done that. And what we do, Kennedy, is to make this information available on our website, ghana.com. So when you log onto the site, you get a pop-up. It gives you a notification of what change is expected to happen and at what date. All stakeholders who are supposed to be engaged prior to these changes are engaged. And all trainings that are required to be done for such stakeholders are done. Indeed, Kennedy, if we don't do that, then upon the introduction of the change, of course, declarants will be stuck. Our stakeholders who have to play one role or the other would not be able to. So it is a priority for us, and it is something we treat as a priority to ensure that before all these changes are made, we know that, of course, stakeholders might not be very happy with some of the changes because maybe in their estimation, it's something they would have wanted not to be done for one reason or the other. But of course, like I've also mentioned, we are service providers. Once the GRA requests of us to make one change or the other, we would have to comply. So in our estimation, we do engage various stakeholders when it has to do with bringing about improvements or changes. I don't know whether the issue is about introduction of modules. When it has to do with modules, then it is a complete new ball game altogether. What it means is that there must be extensive training before the module is even introduced onto the platform. Kennedy, you are aware that we have been working vigorously on a number of our second phase modules.
Yeah.
And before we deploy these modules, we have been doing training programs, we have been engaging stakeholders, we have been running tests, fine-tuning the modules to ensure that at deployment, we are all on the same page and work is smooth on the platform. So once again, this comes as a bit of a surprise to us, but well, we take them as feedback, and going forward, we would probably have to engage stakeholders like the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana and constantly bring them up to speed on some of the things we are doing on ICOMS.
All right, we are pressed for time, but I just want to take time and find out from you. They also raised the issue strongly of lack of enough e-tracking devices by ICOMS. Is this true? And finally, if you would also tell us what your clients or stakeholders should expect, and whether indeed you have actually fully implemented the phase 2 of ICOMS.
Okay, thank you, Kennedy. With the issue of e-tracking devices, in fact, we have had extensive training programs for the second quarter with all the freight forwarder associations in Tema in June. We've done that for the KIA, and we are heading to Aflao and Sunyani and Takrade in the coming month. In our engagements, consistently what we have made them to understand is that we have more than enough e-tracking devices. Currently, Kennedy, we have over 5,000 devices in circulation. The challenge we are having is that clients have the perception that there is a lack of device. So even before they are ready to take the cargo out of the port, they make applications and receive devices, sometimes days and weeks. And because we have allocated the devices, we are no longer able to allocate to any other client who makes a request.
Yeah.
So we have made them to understand that they have no worries. Once they are ready to clear the cargo from the port, when they make an application to us at that stage, we are able to serve them. But where they create artificial shortage by applying for the devices and we are unable to use it for weeks on end, then of course, when others are ready to clear the cargo, then we have devices with us we cannot use because they have been allocated to other people who have already paid for them. So this is the education we keep giving to the freight forwarders. They should relax whenever they are ready to take the cargo out of the port. They should please make an application to our offices and they will receive their devices on the same day. With the question about our second phase models,
Yes.
indeed, Kennedy, you may recall that we have talked extensively on this in discussions with you in the studio.
Yeah.
We are working on the authorized economic operators model. We are almost done with this model. We have worked on the advanced passenger information system. Our very popular e-auction model, we are almost done. What we are doing is to ensure that, because the state warehouse, they also tend to, with cargo vehicles, for example, when they are say arrested or caught in town, are sent there. We are now just conclude the process of linking the state warehouse to the e-auction model, and then after training sessions, we will be deploying this model. We are done with our e-wallet model, our transit data sharing, which is the SIGMAT, which will enable data sharing between our system and those of our neighboring countries. Engagements have been held with Cote d'Ivoire, with Togo, and we are far advanced at deployment. The customs lab activities, our duty drawback, our investigations and intelligence and surveillance models, our post-clearance models. Kennedy, all these models are at very advanced stages of completion, and indeed, for us to be able to have a smooth deployment, like I mentioned, we are currently engaging all the stakeholders. We are onboarding all the stakeholders we need to onboard. For example, with the authorized economic operators, a number of operators have run the pilot scheme, and we are almost done. And we are at very advanced stages. Indeed, what we want to do, Kennedy, is to ensure that what gains we have made within the 2-year period,
Yeah.
we even increase these gains and show up all the other avenues to ensure that our system is continuously providing the service that is required of us to the satisfaction of all of our key stakeholders, especially the government and the GRA.
All right. Thank you very much indeed, Raymond, for spending time with us this evening to elaborate and clarify some of the issues raised by the Importers and Exporters Association. Raymond Amaglo is the Director of Operations at Ghana Link Network Services, the operators of the Integrated Customs Management System, ICOMS, at the ports. We're now zooming tonight into our discussion proper, and tonight we are discussing the role of the youth in trade, security, and maritime under continental trading. It's all about AFTA and the state of AFTA at the moment. And tonight in the studios we have Mr. Louis Yao Afol, who is a trade practitioner and AFTA expert. He is with the AFTA Policy Network Group. Good evening, sir, and welcome.
Thank you, Mona.
Good to have you.
Good evening to your viewers. Yes, always a pleasure.
All right, so let's zoom straight into the discussion. And tell us about the state of
that trading technically has not started because you have to still finish the rules of origin. But my understanding is that by very soon they will go with what is ready, and that is key. Secondly, to progress so far, I think that there is a very good news for the agribusiness sector because Secretariat, after Secretariat, has been able to secure a kind of partnership with the Afrexim Bank of about $2 billion together with World Food Program to support the agribusiness and also to support commodity trading and startups in commodity trading. The last time, remember, I said the commodity trading, these are, and this is focused on agricultural products. Commodity trading is one of the best routes of becoming wealthy because you look at vast volumes. So it is a good initiative, it's a good approach that After Secretariat has done. Another good news is that this year they are focusing on about 5 very critical areas. Agribusiness, pharmaceuticals, automobile, or the automotive industry. They're also looking at a very key one, ICT, and then transport and logistics. These are very, very important. So they have made so many progress, meeting parties here and there, and then also ensuring that, well, I think one of the difficult challenges, and I could see that in the frustration of the Secretary General, is the fact that when you come to the customs management and procedures, party states or state parties are supposed to pass their legislative instruments to enforce the agreement. And I think that is slow. This is currently the state. Because how can it be when you ship goods to a country and they are not ready? So I think by far, if not by the end of July or the third quarter, trading will soon be start fully and people will enjoy.
I just want to get back to the issue of the rules of origin. Where have we come? How close are we to getting them finalized?
As of the last time I checked, it was about 87.13. But they are going to go with that countries that are ready now and wherever they are now.
87.13.
I think it's just left with very few for them to catch up.
All right. Let's also talk about the 5 critical areas you mentioned. You mentioned agribusiness, automobile, transport and logistics, and pharmaceuticals. The last one is?
Yes, I think we talked about, I mentioned 4. I think they're looking at also health, vaccination, vaccines. Developing those areas.
Okay. All right, that's fine. And then the agribusiness, you mentioned some 2 billion USD.
Yes,
If we can expatiate on
I
that.
keep always saying that.
I'm quite interested in that.
I keep saying that agribusiness is what will drive Africa for the moment. Because our value chains are all concentrated in agribusiness. In fact, 50% of the rules of origin falls under agriculture.
Right.
So it makes sense that you rope in a lot of agribusinesses so that they will be the link to manufacturing and industrialization. Therefore, the Secretariat has secured, I think it's about $2 billion. Together from
Secretariat.
Yes, from the Afrexim Bank, they've signed for the next, I think, 5 years or so to support
the agribusiness.
Agribusiness, number 1, and 2, to support startups in commodity trading.
Okay.
Remember, startup is not only about youth. It's not about age, but commodity trading, as I said, and in fact, it's one of the conferences that we are doing this week.
Okay.
Commodity trading is one of the push enablers if this agreement is going to see success. Because they trade in volumes.
Right.
They the one somebody can call for 3 ships of a particular commodity. And without them, the supply chain will have a disruptions within the supply chain. So I think it's a good drive. And the $1 billion is not only for agribusiness. They are also trying to secure another $1 billion to support the automotive industry. And the automotive industry are going to focus explicitly on African companies. When I say African company owned, the shareholder structure is by Africans. So there wouldn't be any form of, it's not like a foreign company here, partner, no. Pure. So if you, Mona, you have an automotive industry, if you are not necessarily manufacturing full-blown vehicle, but you are in that chain, maybe you are in the accessories, you qualify to be able to access this $1 billion when they roll out. And mind you, this fund is not for governments. It's for purely the private sector to assess whenever the structure is really announced. So it's a good cause, and I think that they are progressing gradually.
Now, you sit at the AFTA Policy Network Group, and I know you've done a lot of work since the beginning of AFTA and all that. And you say technically we haven't even started trading yet, even though we are aware that so far only 2, that's for more than a year now, only 2 companies in Ghana were able to, ship out through AFTA. Now, we just want to find out from you, what are some of the successes we can place our fingers on at the moment, even whilst we work to effectively take off when the rules of origin are completed and when all the technical details have been ironed out?
Yes, you're right. I mean, the last time that kind of shipment was a test one. Let me put it that way, a test.
Right.
To really commission the agreement in trading. You cannot trade without rules of origin. That is a, I would say, the Bible of the agreement. How would you confer a product that is made in Africa? And so that is why it is very important. And everybody must agree. Everybody must be satisfied that, look, I'm giving away, I'm taking away this, I'm agreeing on this. Okay, if you are saying a product is wholly obtained, you have to be very sure. Because a product, the fact that it's manufactured in your country does not make it a fully obtained. So you have to go to the extent of knowing that the product is fully obtained. In other words, the raw materials are fully made from here.
Right.
And so such product is automatically qualified as an originating status of the African country. Right. So with that rules of origin, you can bring a product from outside Africa and it can still go through. So the rules of origin is going to make it very, very critical, very, very streamlined at the customs to make sure that this is an after product, this is not an after product. This is made in Africa, this is not made in Africa. And so they have to be a bit patient and they have to tread cautiously. Then again, you also come to the one part which is very important, I mean, in terms of the value addition, which I keep saying, yes. We should know the transformational rates that are going into a finished product. So that one person will not get up and say that my transformation rate was at this percentage. We have a baseline. And so it is important that that rules of origin, that is what drives a free trade, a preferential treatment, of course. Other than that, then everybody is going to go by the most favored nation approach when it comes to goods. But this one, we are looking at a preferential treatment. Nobody is above anybody. Nobody is better than anybody. We are all using the same standard procedures. Right. And so that is why I think they are taking their time. And once what I was also anticipating was the trading services. You know, trading service doesn't use rules of origin.
Right.
It doesn't use rules of origin. Trading services you like. So as for transport, as I said, is one of their priority areas. So they are trying to look at what are some of the obstacles to cross-border trade.
Right.
You know, and I know they've made a lot of trips to Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, Nigeria, those kind of corridors. And if you go to East Africa, you're looking at those kind of corridors. And so transport, I think they are doing a lot of work when it comes to transportation. ICT, the same. They are pushing hard to look at data issues. You know, and then above all, one of the important things I know currently, which is going on, there are a lot of conference and meetings on the protocol on youth. It's not called protocol yet, but let me, for the sake of this discussion, let me say the protocol or the incoming protocol on women and youth in trade. Okay. Discussions are ongoing currently, and the team is going from country to country, visiting parties, state parties. Why? So that they are the stage of challenges. They are meeting to find out what are the real challenges facing the youth. What are the real challenges facing the women? And so when they are done with that, so this time they are zero draft.
Right. Right. Okay, so I know definitely there are challenges. Exactly. What are some of these challenges you have identified, and how have we come in our quest to resolve them?
Well, to me, from where I said, one of the critical challenges, I think, is that we should start with the 87.13% rules of origin. We should start trading. Okay. Another critical one is that the customs management.
Okay, you said 87.13. Yeah,
13, yes.
Yeah, sure. Great. Okay.
Customs management and cooperation. Because we are not a customs union yet.
So your point is that we should not wait
we should
to make 100%.
Start. Yes, we should start. Those who are ready. After all, Rome was not built in a day.
Absolutely.
We should start from some, because people, you see, when people have anticipations, and then at a certain point of time, the expectations are not met, the momentum begins to dwindle. And I feel that but this year, if we don't start trading, a lot of people will begin to start waning their interest after exactly. Sure. So that shouldn't be. Then I think one of the challenges, as I was mentioning, has to do with the legislative instruments among state parties. They should enforce. Some don't have the legislative instruments really ready to really enforce this custom cooperation procedures within their ports. Right. And that is very important. Yes, they will say that we have agreed. Yes, let the goods come by. When we go down, you realize that nothing shows in terms of legislation that they are ready. And you don't do things by oral. Yeah. They have to have the laws. A critical example is that You go to some countries and it's like they feel after it's a Bagana affair. Yeah. Because you go to them and then you realize that there is nothing that shows that even a certificate of origin system is in place. Yeah. And that is also, that to me, that is one of the biggest challenges. And then if you ask me the third one, I would say that by this time, the private sector should have really, really embraced this free trade and not look at it as if it's one passing event. Yeah. It's a continuous process, especially the financial sector. I want to see more robust participation of the financial sector because they are part of the agreement as well. And for them, they are not in the good side. They are in the trading services. They can start doing something. But sometimes it's like the financial services are standing aloof or alone, like they are on an island.
On their own, yeah.
And then they don't know that they're part of it. Finally, another group that is also important is the media, the fourth estate. Thank God some of you are doing very well. But the media should be taken to look at it holistically. It's not just about programs.
Right.
The media is also part in the delivery of this whole agreement. Metro TV, you should be able to go and establish a Metro TV in Tanzania without any regulatory impediment.
I'm sure the big men are watching.
Yes. You should be able to go to Djibouti and establish yourself there because you have free movement. You should have free entry. Yeah. You have free ability to establish yourself there. So that you have Metro TV in Ghana, Metro TV in Djibouti. Yeah. And you are pushing the African agenda. You have CNN in Africa, CNN here, CNN there. We all witness that. Yeah. So that is the benefits of this trading services. Your ability, this is intangible products. Yeah. These are services. One good thing, you have DSTV here, multi-choice. Yeah. But it's not a Ghanaian origin. Yeah. It's in South Africa. Yeah. Yet we're experiencing the services. This is how the services can take the lead. And for me, this is what I think that we need to really push more to those areas.
Awesome. All right, so you mentioned the protocol on women and youth in trade. Now, I just want to find out from you what opportunities lies in the continental trade for the youth and whether they are even aware of these opportunities.
I tell you, we try and have a program this week with the University of Ghana Business School. We call the Role of the Youth Summit. Everybody who matters, it's a free public event. And we are going to have a lot of the Minister of Trade. We're going to have the His Excellency Mene Wankele himself. What is the purpose? You see, the African Union defines the youth between the ages of 15 to 35. And the critical issue is that you have the World Bank telling you that 50% of the African population are youth. What tells you? You should have, something should strike you that you are sitting on a time bomb and you're also sitting on a developmental explosion. You either ignore these statistics and do nothing about the youth, or you take serious policies about the youth and explode in development. Now listen, if you look at the continental free trade, now if the protocol in women and youth in trade is done, one of the things you are going to see is that a lot of African trade is in informal sector. Women are also, about 70% are also in the informal sector. So there will be the formalization of the informal to formal. Then again, women are also engaged in a lot of cross-border trade. It's also going to be really harmonized. As for the youth, one of the important things that is going to be in for them, I mean, from where I sit, if I should think, is that governments and private sector must drive the benefits for the youth. We have always stayed and expected most government and public when it comes to youth policies. No. We are saying that the private sector is the engine of growth. We need to, the private sector should set policies and structure so that it become a system where the youth can really play in and benefit. I recall many years ago, there was a time that the German business delegation, when they were traveling, the German business delegation with the president, there was a time that a 16-year-old business youth was part of the presidential delegation. I don't think we've had such from Africa. I'm yet to know. I recently witnessed some investors from Botswana, youths, driving manufacturing of LED bulbs. The private sector sometimes have ad hoc programs for the youth. No, the youth are not interested in this kind of program. They want permanent transformation, whereby they can make genuine incomes from that. And so the benefit is going. So you realize that if you look at the vision of this after Secretary General, he is really himself is a youth, and he's really have the interest of the youth at heart. He's trying to secure a facility from the African Development Bank, about another 1 billion, so that they can run an internship program at the master's level. Don't only say that youth should go into agribusiness. Yes. What is the system opening up for them? They go to the banks, they go to finance, and they are rejected. Then you are not ready for them. We used to have women banks. You can still have the youth. We have Ministry of Youth and Sport. Then we can also have a bank for the youth. Well structured. That is the key. And so private sector should drive the benefits of the youth in business. The people that I've invited to speak at the summit, look, amazing. There was one youth who has set up an aerospace business. And he's looking at by 2030, he's going to go into orbit. That's a huge area, but he could see that he has the plans.
The vision is there.
Vision is there.
Yeah.
And I told him that, look, I'm going to connect you because I have a partner firm in the US. He's the only black American aerospace company. And he's securing a lot of contract within Africa here. He's American. He's not an African. But if we have this gentleman I'm talking about in Ghana here, already I don't think we have, if you go to the Ministry of Communication, I don't think we have any legislation on space. So the gentleman already is in a difficult situation, even if he's ready now. This is what I am talking about. The system should be prepared for the youth. We just don't announce the youth going to this, going to that. What is the system telling them? Secondly,
Is it favorable?
system should be favorable. I'm saying we should avoid ad hoc. Ad hoc, and ad hoc are, for example, announcements, 3-month short-term policies. You have a system that is running, so that even without telling any youth, they know that this system says this is the one I go this way, this that way. And I think that is one of the critical areas that the private sector can drive. Because if you take after, my dear friend, after is not just about trading goods. After is looking at broadly.
Right.
Example, creative industry. The creative industry, Afrasian Bank laid about $500 million currently to assist those who want to go into the creative industries. But there are not many formalized institutions or companies there. The youth can take interest because that is where talent mobility is. I tell you, we buy so many. We buy so many. In those days, we say DVDs and VCDs.
Yeah, sure.
We subscribe so many and pay. Forget not, when you are enjoying music on YouTube and what have you, you are buying data, money. Sure. Calculate the amount of money you buy from this data. It is what the person who is engaged in that industry is going to earn.
That content creation,
Content creation. So we need some of the youth who have the talent to really receive that kind of guidelines, the system. In other words, in a system, our property, intellectual property rights is working well. Our data protection is working well. So that if I am a musician and I come out with an album, that album should be able to bring me royalties throughout the year, even if I don't produce any album. Because the system allows such that my property right, intellectual property, is recognized and it's appreciated and it's not trampled upon. But if we come to the system where all these are missing, you have to get somebody who goes into maybe music and acting on music, and then 1, 2, 3, you don't see him again. But you could see his music being played elsewhere. You could see his videos being showed elsewhere, film being shown. Those who are showing the film, do they know that they have to pay something?
Right.
So creative industry is also there. So the youth
Issues of copyright.
Issues of copyright. So you see, I'm only enumerating few. So the youth are tired of going to this, going to that, going to this, going to that. They want to hear the system which is in place for them. Right. And they will fall in. There are thousands of ideas that the youth are, thousands. We were here when a team from Botswana, no, I think Zimbabwe, they were youth. They won $200,000 for the Kofi Annan ICT challenge.
Right.
They have fantastic ideas. If you know the number of apps that most youths in Africa have developed on Google Play, you'll be amazed. Where has it gone to? In fact, the first time the African Continental Free Trade app, it was developed by a friend of mine who is in Kigali.
Right. Rwanda.
Rwanda, currently, the one who developed the website of the African Continent is a Ghanaian.
Right.
The website, the current website, the after is using, it's is done by a Ghanaian. Wow. And that is good news. Yeah. So the youth are ready. The system is just not prepared.
To give them those opportunities and get them to.
And we are supposed to do, the private sector this time around should inculcate it as a very pure agenda and support the public sector and support government. Government have the bigger opportunity, but private sector has a lot to play. After all, we want to see these youths playing a transformation within our sectors.
Right.
So I think that is the area that I will.
Let's move, delve into the issue of security under continental trading. Have you identified any lapses, and what are some of the things that we should be looking out for in terms of security as far as continental trading is concerned? I think we'll just go for a break. When we come back, then we'll tackle that particular issue. This is Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television, and tonight we are discussing the role of the youth in trade, security, and maritime under continental trading. With me in the studios, Mr. Louis Yao Afo. He is a trade practitioner, after expert with the After Policy Network Group. We are going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the discussion. Please do stay with us.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Go Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Go Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Go Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Go Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water, or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse. And my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance Motor Policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the project and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
All right, so you're welcome back. This is Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television, Metro TV. And like I said earlier on tonight, we're discussing the role of the youth in trade, security, and maritime under continental trading. With me in the studios, Mr. Louis Yaoafo, trade practitioner and after expert with the After Policy Network Group. He's the one we're having a discussion with tonight. Remember, we have some messages, already in the inbox, which I'll be going to them pretty shortly. And I've also been told by my producers that the lines are activated. You can call in and contribute to the discussion. The number to dial is 02055283353. 02055283353. You can call in and contribute to the discussion. Before we went for the break, I just wanted to address that issue of security under the continental trade and whether we have identified any lapses and how we are trying to resolve them. Mm. Mm. Yeah, your microphone, please. Yeah.
Sorry.
Great.
I think that I will take it back again. I don't think it was traditionally part of the agreement, security, but security is key. And I think that the idea was because when it comes to security, it was more like on the national levels. But security is key because without internal security, stability, you can't have proper trade, let alone on a continental scale. If you're looking at security, let's take at border issues.
Yeah.
Currently, Morocco and Algeria, borders have been closed more than over a decade. How would they trade?
Right. Okay. Let's take Kobe from Accra and we'll come back. So just note that point down when we come back then. Hello, good evening, sir. Kobe.
Good evening, Master.
Good to hear from you. Please flow.
Okay. Let me speak my dialect, okay? Ghanaian dialect.
Which one is?
She.
Okay, please go ahead.
Master, sometimes, you talk about the youth unemployment. It's our own doing. See, I'm one example. So many will be a monaco. Kemasisia, coffee ships is Yabontin. Naturally, our first harbor in Takrade is ideal at the Hopper. And to say, Bia, Accra. How can the youth go ahead and get a job to do? It's your problem when you say, always be a car, it's only the country, which was not right. You talk about America. America is not like the way people are talking about. So you better forget about what you people are saying. Say, youth. If you don't spread your wings, there's nothing going to happen in this country here. Because look at Kesbin has established one of his stations in Accra, from Kumasi to Accra. Peace FM is spreading so much. Why is it that the government will be the same thing? It's always Accra. Come on.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much indeed, Kobe. Your point is well made. Kobe is talking about decentralization. I mean, he wants the job opportunities to be spread evenly, across the country so that we don't have that concentration in Accra and Tema as far as the maritime industry is concerned. Well, your point is well made. I believe the powers that be are listening, and if they need to make any adjustments and to open the space up, I'm sure it's going to happen. Yes, so make your point quickly.
Yes.
And then let's come and take some messages and then.
I say that the security is important. Before the days of the late the Pan-African leaders in Nkrumah's time, just when they were about to really clock on the single market, then there was waves of coup d'etats, insecurity. Just when after set in, just observe, when after set in, we've had last year a lot of sparks of sub-regional instability. And so it should be of concern. Our internal security.
Mali, Burkina Faso.
Can name.
Yeah, sure.
In fact, even in Ethiopia, where African Union is seated. Yeah. So imagine there is a clause to suspend members who have issues with insecurity in their countries, assuming that there was civil unrest in Ethiopia, where the seat of Africa. Will you move AU office from there? So security is very, very, very important. Yeah. Security is very important. And I think that for the first time, as I said, if you look at this week's program that we are going to do, for the first time we are trying to bring all the security experts together to brainstorm, to look abroad. And not only that, maritime, the pirates, billions of dollars going when when a ship has to be, rescued by pirates. Look at the longest coast, Somalia. What has been happening there? Do we have the capacity? We need to invest in maritime security, the boats, speed boats, armed, or whatever they call it. Because if you want to fall upon developed countries, it's not free.
Absolutely.
And so we need to look, and because goods will be transported, it is majority will be by maritime. Majority. So it's time, because we are looking at this continental free trade boosting in the next 5 years to 7 years. By that time, each state party should be able to have enough security for its maritime activities.
Right.
So security is very, very key.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going into the mailbox right now. This one says, please, I have been trying to get a company to trade with in weedicides and fertilizer. Can you please help me with those companies dealing with such products? This one didn't come with a name. And then this one says, this from Ohima in Tama. She says, good evening, I import. Great discussion. Kudos for the good job. I kindly ask Mr. Afo when actual trading can start, what needs to be in place to signal the beginning of trading, and also ask him how he will rate the readiness to trade on a scale of 1 to 10.
I think that, let me also say that our policy network is offering that kind of services to markets, to give market intelligence to people like Ohima, so she can pick my contact from Metro TV. On the substantive question, readiness, I explained that you need the rules of origin.
Right.
And on the scale of 1 to 10, I think that they are about 7.5 ready.
Okay. All right. It says, good evening, sir. Nana, I think that, somebody was watching, and the fellow sent this one to a question to Mr. Maglo Raymond ICOMS, and he has responded. So I'll just go through them. This one says, good evening, sir. Nana Jiman is my name. Honestly, ICOMS is the best, but I have a small challenge, which is the system was established to make port operations and clearance easy and faster. But when a whole lot of key stakeholders have joined it, making it inefficient, is when your container or cargo is satisfied and released by an examination and preventive section, only for your driver to call and tell you that your container number is placed at the gate, not to be allowed to exit without any reason. At the end, someone will just take a bribe before allowing it to exit. It is a bit boring, sir. Thank you. Well, there's no name here. Okay, he gave the name, he says his name is Nanajimai. All right. And this is the response given by Raymond Amaglo. He says, this is more of a human challenge. The key stakeholders he mentioned are mostly the regulatory agencies, that is FDA, GSA, that's Ghana Standards Authority, Customs Chemists, Energy Commission, among others. Now, and they play very key roles on the system. Any challenge with withholding of container at the gate is a human one. There should be an indication available to you on the system to show you can't exit the port. Now, otherwise, unless there's intelligence available to the security agencies. And that's his response to you, Nanejman. I'm sure you will pick it up and then see. If you still need any further clarification, you can contact the production team. They'll link you up with the executives at Ghana link icons, and then they can resolve whatever doubts and ambiguities you have bothering your mind. So let's come to, you mentioned the issue of maritime, and I just want to find out from you how the maritime sector is faring under this continental trading.
I think it's all falls under transport and logistics. And currently, as I said, trading has not started. So it's very difficult to really use any index to measure. But even before trading starts, we have been hearing of issues. If we are looking at in terms of delays of goods, that is under trade facilitation. I think that there have been so many complaints when it comes to ships, in terms of the time, and you could look at the distance. I mean, from here to just within the sub-region, it takes so many months. That is one. But in terms of security, we're looking at the security. And I think with security, we're saying that because we have not tested the waters yet, we will not be able to give in the, but it's ongoing. Recently, there have been so many reports within the West African coast region. We've been having so many pirate activities going on.
Ongoing. Okay, let's hold it there. We'll go to Wisdom on the phones and come back. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yeah, great to have you. Please, Flo.
I would like to know when the program will be held at University of Ghana.
When the program
will be held at University of Ghana.
The youth
University of Ghana
is on the Friday, 9 o'clock.
Okay, it says that on Friday at 9 o'clock.
29th July is free to attend.
Friday, 29th July at 9 o'clock is free. The gates are free. You can attend,
Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Yeah. So we're on maritime. And
maritime is key. Yes. Maritime, if well managed and content, it's going to bring a lot of jobs. Because we need serious data management, and the youth can play that role.
Right.
Because you need a lot of data to inform cargo activities, to inform cargo. I'm not an expert in terms of the port, but my little understanding, in terms of the flow, volumes, you need data. Cyber issues. And that is where maritime is of utmost important, security. It can create a lot of jobs if well managed.
Right.
So on a continental free trade, every state party should take that very, very seriously. Create the environment where you can have a lot of youth even going into that arena in terms of ICT. Then before you go to the hard infrastructure with your national security. Apart from that, I think we need to have a lot of education when it comes to maritime. It's like it has been one industry that has been a bit on the sidelines. We need to know more. When we say maritime industry, what goes there?
Yeah.
Because to me, the sea never dries.
Yeah.
And if you have about 80% of goods that will be transported apart from road on maritime, through maritime corridors, then it's about time we have a conversation, a dialogue. Because I can tell you that it is going to be an avenue that if we look at it carefully, we can create a lot of employment for the youth as well.
Right.
When it comes to maritime reporting, to maritime, maritime goes with the weather.
Yeah.
A lot of apps determining the kind of weather conditions, sea, and what have you.
Yeah.
And so currently, I think that it's one of the crucial 5 keys in terms of transport and logistics under the continental free trade. But specifically under maritime, I think that I'm yet to really see what they have outlined.
I think there are attempts, correct me if I'm wrong, to create a continental customs union. How far have we come? And what role will they play in the scheme of things?
That is a way. It forms part of a holistic one African market. One African market goes in stages.
Right.
You have to go through the free trade area, that's the first stage. Then you look at one custom union. Then it continues one currency. Then you continues, and then you have like the European Union. Yeah. Currently, we are the first stage, where we have free trade. So that's why the agreement states that if you look at the preamble establishing the African continent, it says there will be customs management and cooperation.
Right.
In other words, to the layman, they are all going to cooperate among themselves to manage. But when you become one custom union, like you have happening within the East African regions, then it becomes whatever happens here in Ghana, you go to Nigeria, it's the same, you go to South Africa, it's the same. I think we have to, it will be some few years away. And I think that will also happen. And when we get there, it will be very, very important. That's why you can say that that is where after certificate of origin is the same. Is the same that you are going to have when you get to Cote d'Ivoire.
Yeah.
Until that, you're going to have some lapses, the way and manner procedures are done, and it takes commitment and will. It takes commitment and will, and it is a test for them.
Right.
For the state parties, because at the first stage, where this free trade, where at least is the most easiest part to me, where you are negotiating tariff liberalization, you are giving away, take away. If you are not committed to that one, then you come to the layman, the second difficult stage where it's custom, where that one, you have opened up your borders, you've opened up your income incomes, or you have opened up your single windows, and then your revenue is being a bit skewed because you have liberalized certain product. Is that stage that you can? So their commitment to that stage starts now. And if we're able to put that into play, it will be easy also to have that one custom union, then move to another difficult one currency.
Yeah. Right.
So it's playing, but it's in stages, yeah.
All right, so with the coming into being of continental trade, is it feasible to talk about continental maritime policy?
Yes. For instance, as I said, if you look at the preamble, we are supposed to have protocols and phases and protocols. And under protocols, you have so many annexes. So I was explaining that maritime is possible because if you have the protocol on trade, I mentioned some of the annexes where you have the rules of origin, trade facilitation, and etc. In the same vein, if you take maritime issues, we have transport. They should be able to have. It can be possible also because if you look at a protocol like investment, most countries who don't have investment laws are waiting to see how the continental investment policy will look like, including Ghana Investment Promotion Center. They are ready. They have some bills almost getting into power, but they are waiting to see how the continental free trade investment code policy codes will look like, and that is a good one, so that they can inculcate it into our law so that it becomes holistic. If you take intellectual property rights, other countries don't have it, so they are waiting to see how the continent. In the same way, I think that it's not too late if the maritime one is not really specified within the transport. Transport has been liberalized under trading services, and I think they should be. I think they should be because at the end of the day, whatever has been negotiated binds. That is my understanding.
Right.
So whether it's by road, by sea, by air, it falls under transport. And so that is why we are waiting to see that this year, as they have earmarked transport and logistics as a key. In fact, they are so determined about it that there are a lot of meetings going on, and trying to meet African umbrellas, the umbrellas that fall within the transport and logistics.
Right.
So it is a very key, and that's why there are a lot of security meetings on maritime have been ongoing with After Secretariat to see how best we can really use the word police our maritime when it comes to trade.
Right. Now let's come back to the issue of the youth and their involvement in the continental trade. Don't you think that it's about time we start engaging youth groups? We have what we call the Ghana Chamber of Youth Entrepreneurs, being run by Mr. Sharif Gali, and his team, and we have others also, and you just mentioned also the fact that we have a lot of Ghanaian youth who are into the development of applications, not even only in Ghana, but Africa, and they can play a very key role in the scheme of things as far as AFTA is concerned. Tell us about what the Ghanaian youth that is sitting out there and watching this show should be doing to actively get involved, in the AFTA thing.
It's a multi-million question you have asked. I think that, yes, congratulations to Sharif, congratulations also to his son, and the many other youths. In fact, they are doing a lot. All of them are doing very well. Then again, it comes back to what I started. It is not about Ghana alone. We need to have very pragmatic systems, number one. The youth who is listening to me should identify, one, the talent and skills. Transform that talent and skills into a product you want to trade in. That talent, that product, then look for the market for that product. It can be a good, it can be a service. That is fundamental. Because if you don't have a product, because it's about trading. So if you have a skill, you transform into a product, maybe it's about invention. Let's use the time that COVID came. The time that COVID came, you had people coming out to inventions. So like some of the young people came with this hand washing machines and what have you. That was fantastic. Somebody like that, what do you do for the person? Should the machine end with, I'm not hearing of them currently. After it was approved or certified by Standard Board, where does the product go? Such person needs to be supported with market intelligence. Then how, until the commodity goes to the consumer, every process that is being organized to help the youth hasn't ended.
Right.
And that is where most African systems fail. They identify one way and leave the youth, and then some become very stale, some don't move forward. Make sure that all the various chains, all the various procedures and processes by which they can be self-sustainable is really, really open up. So, for example, if I am a musician, I've come out with a product, I know that, look, there is a creative, the tourism ministry, or there's that creative space, private sector. I go to record it, I have a marketing, it goes to that channel, I know the royalties I'm receiving, I followed it up, I pay my tax. I know that this is a system.
Right.
I want to go into agribusiness. Maybe I want to go into value chain in coconuts. Identify. Maybe I might not be. And one of the things I'm telling the youth is that you don't have to be an exporter necessarily. You have to be part of the exportable chain.
Right.
And what it means is that if you are an exportable chain or importable chain, it means that you are not the final person to export, but you are part of the process. So, for example, you, Mona, will be the one to finally export the coconut, but I will be the one to go for it from the farmlands and distribute to you. Remember, distribution services is one of the component of trading services and after, even though it is not fully liberalized. So the distribution services, environmental services are key. Even cultural services are going to be a part, so that the youth has so many options. So you have to identify your skills and what you have been trained in.
Right.
And if you want to go into services, good. If you want to go into product, you have to chase information. Information is key. Find out the institutions that will give you the information you want. If you come to us, we'll give you the information you want.
Right.
We can show you where to go. You can go to the Ministry of Trade. You can, and again, let me repeat, say this, that when it came to AFTA, there was a coordinated effort by the government by having interministerial committee to work on AFTA, which they did so well. The same way, if we want to see a viable youth system play, there should be a coordinated ministerial system on the public side and a coordinated private sector system. So that, for example, if a youth knows that after I've identified this product in the private sector, when I go to this company, they'll help me market. Right from there, this company also knows that I'll get financial support from here until the time that you have moved away from a startup system.
Right. Okay. I think we've run out of time. This one is from Dansu. It says, hello, I'm Dansu from Tema. Kindly ask your guest, what is the preparedness of other countries under the AFTA? We can't take that here. We would get you to give us that response so that we'll fit it into our abridged version, which will be aired on Ghana Television on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. And so we'd like to say a big thanks to Louis Awafo, trade practitioner, AFTA expert at AFTA Policy Network Group, for joining us this evening to discuss the role of the youth in trade, security, and maritime under continental trade. That's how we draw the curtain on this week's edition of Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. Remember, the abridged version of the show, like I rightly mentioned a while ago, will be aired on Ghana Television at 8:30 on Wednesday. Make a date and don't be late. Indeed, I would also like to say thanks once again to our sponsors, Ghana Revenue Authority, Goil Company Limited, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, and Meridian Port Services. Remember, the show is powered by the Ghana Port and Harbours Authority, GPHA. Maximum thanks to our executive producers, Mrs. Esther J.B. Donko and Nana A.C. Soderberg Kwanzaa. My name is Kennedy Mona. God willing, we shall bounce back next week with another wonderful edition of Iron Port. Have a super week ahead and enjoy the rest of the programs. Good evening.